Here are 5 times UFC fighters cheated and got caught. The duck who couldn't stay clean. You don't become the most talented fighter of all time without a few dirty chapters. Jon Jones beat Daniel Cormier at UFC 214 with a brutal head kick and follow-up punches that ended the rivalry. The crowd went wild. Cormier cried. Dana handed Jon the belt. And then, everything unraveled. 3 weeks later, the results came back. Jones tested positive for Turinabol, a banned steroid. It was his 3rd failed drug test. The win was overturned, the belt was stripped, and Cormier, the guy who just got knocked out on live TV, he was quietly reinstated as champ, without ever getting his revenge. Jones said it was a tainted supplement. The fans didn't buy it. Even Dana looked like he aged 5 years in one night. Because you can sell hype. You can sell drama, but a superstar who keeps getting caught? That's bad for business. And yet, Jon Jones is still here, still a legend, still the only heavyweight who quacks when someone says Aspinall. But if you thought steroids were wild, wait until you hear about the guy who used IVs in secret bathrooms. The hidden needle. Let's go back to 2017. Fabrizio Werdum, former heavyweight champ, was set to face Derek Lewis in Sydney. But just days before the bout, Derek pulled out. And while most fans were focused on who the replacement would be, Werdum was busy doing something else, injecting himself with an illegal IV behind closed doors. Yep, in a shady hotel bathroom with a friend helping him. Werdum tried to secretly rehydrate using IV fluids, which had been banned under USADA's anti-doping policy since 2015. But this wasn't just a misunderstanding. The dude brought in an unlicensed nurse who wasn't even authorized to give IVs. The whole thing looked more like a cartel scene than a UFC weight cut. USADA caught wind of it after a whistleblower leaked the info, and when the investigation started, Werdum did what any guilty man would do. He lawyered up. Then he vanished from the rankings faster than you can say electrolyte drink. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do it before your name shows up in a USADA report too. Dana didn't say much publicly, but you could tell he was fuming. Because once again, another former champ got exposed for cutting corners and cutting veins. But as shady as IV bathrooms are, wait until you hear about the guy who literally greased himself mid-fight. The Vaseline incident. Georges St. Pierre, the cleanest, classiest, most professional MMA fighter of all time. Until you check his shoulders. UFC 94, GSP versus BJ Penn. A dream matchup between two champs. Penn came in cocky, talking trash, promising to beat GSP into a living death. And for a while it looked competitive, until BJ started slipping, literally. Mid-fight, the camera catches GSP's cornerman rubbing Vaseline, not just on his face, but on his shoulders and back, which, if you're new here, is completely illegal. Because now, every time BJ Penn went for a takedown, his grip slid off like he was wrestling a buttered dolphin. BJ's corner went ballistic. They screamed at the commission. They demanded the fight be stopped. Even Dana White stood up and barked, "You can't do that shit." The cameras caught it all, and fans have been arguing about Greasegate ever since. The result stood. GSP won, but BJ never let it go. He claimed it wasn't just illegal, it was planned, a full-on greasing strategy. Dana never officially punished anyone, but the moment became iconic, because in the middle of one of the biggest title fights ever, someone turned Georges St. Pierre into a walking bottle of baby oil. But if you thought that was greasy, wait till you see what one fighter tried to hide inside his hand wraps. Snake juice. Before the scandal, there was respect. He was a Division I wrestler, a former Team Alpha male prodigy. TJ Dillashaw wasn't just a champ. He was the bantamweight boogeyman. Explosive footwork, surgical combos, cardio for days. He dethroned Renan Barão when Barão was on a 32-fight win streak. Then he knocked out Cody Garbrandt, not once, but twice, while smiling. TJ was a killer, a tactician, a future Hall of Famer. So when he announced he dropped down to flyweight to end Henry Cejudo in one round, nobody laughed. Because when TJ said he was gonna do something, he usually did. But this time, he had help. Lab help. After Cejudo stopped him in 32 seconds, USADA revealed TJ had tested positive for EPO, an advanced performance-enhancing drug that boosts red blood cells and endurance. This wasn't a contaminated supplement. This was science. This was snake juice. Dana White didn't hold back. He told media he was shocked that EPO wasn't being tested far more often. He looked pissed. TJ, he posted a video confessing everything. Said he was ashamed. Said he made a deal with the devil. Said if he hadn't gotten caught, he would have justified it. He got a 2-year suspension, lost his belt, lost his prime. And when he finally came back, he looked smaller, slower, human. They used to call him the Snake. Now, just another fighter who flew too close to the EPO bottle. The $2.5 million cheat. Brock Lesnar walking into UFC 200 felt like a WWE crossover no one ordered.
It's just embarrassing him against Mark Hunt. They knew he was on the juice. He went in there loaded to the gills. It was just an embarrassing fucking thing. It was an embarrassing thing for everybody. And Mark Hunt had every right to be mad. They put him in there with a guy that's coming off rocket fuel. That dude just don't eat D-ball. Look at the size of his head. He's taking shit that makes your head grow. Okay? That's what they get to pit bulls.
A walking muscle suit with a neck tattoo and exactly 0 top 10 wins. He hadn't fought in 5 years, but Dana gave him the co-main event anyway. Because, hey, it's Brock. As if Brock was gonna suplex his way into the GOAT conversation. He faced Mark Hunt, a real knockout machine. And Brock, he wrestled. He stalled, he sweated on the man for 15 minutes, and somehow won on a decision. It wasn't MMA, it was human blanket jiu-jitsu. Then came the real main event. Brock failed 2 drug tests, one before the fight, one after. He popped for clomiphene, a banned substance used to hide steroid use. Mark Hunt was livid. Dana White, quiet, because Brock brought in big numbers, big pay-per-view buys, and apparently a big get-out-of-USADA free card. Fun fact, he wasn't tested like other fighters. He got a special exemption because he signed late, which sounds a lot like don't ruin the money train. And still, the UFC paid him $2.5 million. While Mark Hunt got ground into the mat by a fridge with arms, the result was overturned. Lesnar got suspended, and then he vanished. Brock left with his millions. And if you thought this was insane, wait till you see the 8 times fighters got banned from the UFC entirely. Click here.